My name is Joel Mugisha, the Deputy President of National Unity Platform in charge of Western Region. Recently, a lot has been trading on social media and in public news about our leader of opposition, the Right Honourable Joel Senyonyi. There are people who are coming up with an ugly idea that Joel Senyonyi took a bribe. Is it 1.7 billion, something like that? That when he was still chairperson of COSASE and was investigating the saga of Uganda Airlines. It is unfortunate that such news could come up at this time, because we all know that when you are fighting corruption, corruption always fights back. And it is unfortunate that it is happening now, because even when, truth be told, even when there could be some truth, nobody will believe them. They are really coming up at the wrong time, and we all know that it is corruption fighting back, because we know that the report is being accused of not having handed in. The report did come out, and I recall when the investigation was going on, you know, the press was always around, and there was an intervention all the time from the speaker, the Right Honourable Anita Among, accusing him of publicizing the information even before the report came out. So to me and to many other Ugandans, sane Ugandans, that was report enough, because step by step there were reports. But also I recall there was a time when he demanded that the report be produced in Parliament, and the Speaker just shelved it, and that one cannot be attributed to his being corrupt. But in any case, for us at NUP, ours is to fight corruption, no matter who. So if those people accusing Honourable Senyonyi of corruption have evidence, let them bring it forward. We are not trying to shield him, but we are saying, can you clarify, can you bring viable information about what, even if there was a scandal, a corruption scandal, by any other person that is related to our party National Unity Platform, I want to assure Ugandans that we shall deal with it without fear or favor. It doesn't matter who, because that is our bedrock. We are premised on fighting corruption, and corruption we shall fight to the end. So those people who are trying to divert us, now they want us to shut us down. Because if somebody comes and says, oh, you are very own, then they want us, you know, to step back and then allow what is happening to continue. But I want to assure Ugandans that no matter what, no matter who, just like my president stressed recently, no matter who you are, if you are corrupt and it is proven beyond doubt that you are corrupt, you know, we shall not hesitate to deal with you like we have done with the rest of the corrupt, you know, leaders.
Okay. Now, according to you, whom do you expect to be behind all those allegations? And what could be the reason?
There are many theories. You know, when something like this happens, many different camps of different interests come in. I could attribute this one to the very corrupt officials who were really touched by this hand. You know, maybe the group of commissioners and all those people who are being accused of corruption. It could even be government itself, because you all know that NRM government is the god of all corruption. It is built on that one, and there is no doubt that if anyone, tries to touch their very own, their very eye of corruption, they want to divert us. They want to, fight back and ensure that, this kind of message does not continue. But also there is another school of thought that says that the president, Mr. Museveni himself, could be behind that. This is just an allegation because, he's an interested party. His very closest people are always accused of corruption now and again. So I'm sure he's like, because I remember sometime, was it during last month when he was saying, this Senyonyi, who is Senyonyi? He said it and I saw him on national TV. So he could be behind that one. Because, when you want to cover up something, you can try anything. But also, you see, when you are in a position of leadership like that one, the Right Honourable Senyonyi is occupying, it's very attractive. There are many other people who would want to be there. So you really cannot get up without proper research, stand up and say, I know it is so and so. But there are so many factors, as you have seen, and many more which we may not have tackled. But I believe that the truth, time will tell the truth. The truth will come out. If Senyonyi is corrupt, well, there is nothing we can do. If he is proven guilty, then we shall deal with him accordingly. But if not, I want to urge Ugandans to continue praying for him and praying for the rest of Uganda, because if anyone, whenever someone comes up to fight corruption, then there is this, there is that, just like you see what is happening. So it may be a way of blinding Ugandans to keep us in the status quo.
In ongoing March Parliament protests against corruption, as NUP, are you involved as a party?
We are involved in many ways. Number one, it is our desire as NUP that people stand up and demand for their rights. It is our desire because we are fighting for the rights of the people. It is our wish. First of all, it is a desire, it is a wish. We want it. I personally want it, that Ugandans could come up and copy our brothers in Kenya, what they did. Because the same fate that has befallen the people of Kenya, in fact, I think the leaders of our neighbors are copying from Uganda. Because if you look at the standard of living of Ugandans, of course there are some people who say, hey, but you people who are in opposition, you don't always support. Yes, we do support. But how many homesteads can you touch and say this and that? If you look at the situation of our schools, somebody this morning was saying, can there be a school like this in Western Uganda? Oh yes, there are schools, there are terrible schools. People are still studying from under trees. Our children are walking bare at school without shoes. If you look at the water supply, if you look at the veterinary drugs that are being sold in shops, if you look at the cost of medical care, if you look at petrol, at the pump there, everything is just abnormal. What happens in Uganda is abnormal. But you know what is surprising? What actually surprises and annoys is that Mr. Museveni always blames other people. He's an expert at blame game. He will say, oh, foreigners, as if Uganda, we are Ugandans, we are the ones suffering that fate, the predicament he has put us in. But he will say, oh, I know they are foreign elements. What interest do foreign elements have in Uganda that our neighbors don't have? When there are bombs, explosives here in Uganda, they say, oh, foreign people. And there is a M23. And then you ask, what does M23 want with Uganda. Uganda is a place where anybody just comes. I've seen foreigners coming here. They just come, maybe they have come to even study from these universities. The next day you find them with a home of their own. They buy a piece of land, build, and nobody, not even the neighbors even care. But then for him, whatever Ugandans come up to say, if it is against him, he will say, oh, foreign influence. But which foreigners, if I may ask, which country is interested in Uganda's peace that doesn't want Ugandans to be peaceful? Which country doesn't want Ugandans to have good schools? Which country wants Ugandans to remain primitive the way we are? And then they sponsor, marches to parliament. So I think it's high time our leaders realized that as Ugandans, we also get information. We suffer that fate. And when we suffer, we have capacity to mobilize ourselves into pressure groups and then march to parliament without anybody influencing us. Just because one individual has been able to establish that Ugandans like money, that when you give them food, because in our culture here among the Banyankori, when you slaughter a cow, then all the noise will subside. They think that because they do that now and again, bribing people here and there, that all the others will keep quiet. No. You see, when you push people to the wall, that's what happens. Ugandans have been pushed to the wall, and it's high time our issues are tackled, are handled, maturely, wisely, following the available law, without having to push blame to the foreigners. Because Ugandans have brains. It's like he's taking us for idiots, all of us. Because, I can't go to the pump and I find petrol costing more than it does in Rwanda down here. I can't, you see the roads, we are always on potholes. Then he thinks that we don't know. For us Ugandans, we are foolish enough not to see. We need foreigners to see for us and then sponsor us to fight. Please.
Some NRM members being arrested. Even your neighbor here, Mawanda, is also in jail. Couldn't that be...
Are you sure he's still there?
Yes.
Okay. There is a tendency, ever since he came in 1986, all those people who have been accused of corruption, he will transfer them to another ministry. He will pretend that he has, put them on the small bench for the time being until noise subsides, and then he picks them up again. Whom? Except maybe the Gavi funds scandal. I only see it was Mike Mukura who was not reinstated. But people who were not even ministers at the time, I see them now, moving around with convoys, being worshipped for being who they are. That. So he doesn't do anything about it. Because after all, they are part and parcel. They actually his ribs, if I may use that word. So, Mawanda being in prison, time will tell. Time will tell. Is he going to go through the due process of court? What exactly is happening to him and his... Are they two other colleagues? And why aren't they... because how long does it take to investigate somebody of his status who has been found with billions of shillings under his bed and he's not charged immediately? Because, he's there. He should have talked about where he got the money from and why he's keeping it under his house, rather under his bed. There are many other Ugandans. There was somebody, a plumber who went to fix water system in somebody's house. he was surveying around to, to find out what was wrong with the system. He opened one of the rooms and he found money stacked like you put books in a bookshelf. And the guy just fainted for a few minutes, then regained his breath and just took off, because he couldn't imagine somebody having so much money, stuck in a strong room inside the house, and nobody was even touching it, because of course there are cameras all over the place. So all that is happening under the president's very nose, right? So for him to come up today and tell us that he's beginning with Honourable Mawanda, maybe because he's Mawanda after all, maybe if he was some other person, not Chitutu, not Nandutu, maybe if he was Kamji. I am sorry, you Vanyankore who are listening to me, but maybe if he was Kamjisha, he was, Tumsime Karanga Chomugashora Ikimi.
Mawanda is from here.
I know. Mugosha Bwenchen Vamuita Mawanda. Why is he called Mawanda? Why isn't he like Kamjisha, Tumsime, to Biarhanga? Maybe if he was Biarhanga, I mean he's Mawanda, right? Hey. Well, I'm not being sectarian, but from what has been happening progressively, you can rightly see that the people who are really close to Mr. Museveni, either by blood or social relationship, those ones are no-go areas. They don't touch them. Look at the new man who has been appointed to run State House and corruption. Wasn't he charged in court?
In URS.
The man, the URS Kaga, and isn't he now reappointed in a fresh appointment under presidential, his authority, State House? I mean, if somebody has been charged of corruption, right, and then you reappoint him, what is he supposed to do? That is a promotion. You are promoting the person. And what will the other people see? They see you as promoting that vice. We have a proverb here that when a mother steals, when she's carrying a baby on her back, then you can rest assured, even if she has stolen, she steals a bunch of bananas, and then she's carrying a baby on her back, you can rest assured that that child, when it grows up, it will be a highway robber. Okay? So he's demonstrating that corruption, that robbery in Uganda is okay. In fact, it is the most corrupt people who have lots of money in this country, and they are the ones who are given very high positions. They are the ones who go through elections. They are the ones who eat, even in our churches today. They are the ones who will entertain, who will enjoy the bishop's meal when he visits at a church, because they will be the ones to give even much more money in fundraisings and contributions to our religious institutions. So they are given the highest seat in those institutions as well. So, I mean, what does an ordinary Ugandan say? That corruption is our bedrock.
The last words?
Ugandans need to continue waking up. I want so far to thank the stage we are at. We are slowly realizing that we've been taken for a ride for many years. Because, they used to tell us, hey, for us we have peace. That when you are poor and then somebody gives you a bunch of bananas, that is the peace. That Uganda was unsettled, there was no peace, but now we can settle on peace. No, we don't eat peace. Our children need good education. We need good hospitals. We need good roads. We need our human rights. We need our neighbors to be okay. Because if you are one rich person in a community and the rest who surround you, you are in the neighborhood, are poor, you will also not sleep, because you worry about them breaking into your house. Then you start rearing dogs and so on, and employing people to come and guard you the whole night. So we are saying, Ugandans, run from our neighbors. It's high time. Please get up. We've been taken for a ride for a long time. Get up and let us demand for what is rightly ours. Because Uganda is our country and it belongs to all of us. And all of us must fight back. Let us not slumber. We have been in slumber for the last 38 years. But please wake up. Now is the time.